Good morning, or hello. I am here with Caitlin on her birthday, and we are going to talk about how to open your pool correctly with the least amount of stress and anxiety, like what I have caused myself. So today we are learning about how to open your pool and what not to do. So,
yeah, okay. So I just want to talk about kind of opening day. First thing I want to say is a lot of you guys think like I'm going to wait till it warms up and then I'm going to open my pool. But if you want to swim in your pool for Memorial Day weekend, get your pool open in the next week. The next week is the best time to open your pool, so then that way you have a couple of weeks to do any cleaning, balancing. You never know. There are times you go out, everything was fine when you closed it, and you go out to open it and you've got a pump that's bad, a hose that's bad. But it's kind of pre-planning, but a lot of people do think like, it's still cold outside or it's gonna rain. Like, go ahead, get it open, get it started, get it balancing. It's easier to balance in cooler weather than it is when it's 100 degrees outside. So the reason I say that is algae requires two things to grow, and algae is probably our number one struggle with pools when it comes to clearing them up and just being in Kansas and taking care of them. So it requires light and it requires warmth. And so if you wait to open your pool, go ahead and move it for me too.
No,
if you wait to open your pool until it gets warm out, now you have that factor. And as soon as you pull your cover off, now you have the light factor. So now not only are you battling, hey, my pool's yucky, I need to get it clean, but now you're battling, oh, by the way, Mother Nature is helping everything grow at a rapid rate. So now this week, get your pools open, get them up and going, so that way if you have any of those roadblocks, you can get that taken care of before even to a graduation party or a birthday party or Memorial weekend, just kind of a fun weekend to be in the pool. So a couple of things to remember on opening day. Opening day, it's stressful, it's a whole family fiasco, everybody has to help, and nobody really wants to because it's not like you can just jump in your pool and it be crystal clear. There are different types of covers and stuff out there and styles of pool. So if you're watching this and you're like, man, I open my pool, it's crystal clear every time. You're a lucky one. You probably have an in-ground pool with a solid cover on it. Awesome. You probably don't need to watch the video, but you can hang in there for a little while. If you have an above-ground pool or you have an in-ground pool with a mesh cover, then you know what I'm talking about when the day you open the pool, it's green, it's got algae buildup, and now what do? So a lot of us have automatic cleaners. My friend Cassie, I love her, and she's got one. They are amazing tools, but they are tools for after you have the pool open and cleaned up and ready to go. She could tell you why I feel that way, but they're not the best tool for the day that you open a pool. So let's talk about the day we open a pool. We get the cover removed, it's dirty, we've got leaves in there, it's green, and now we've got the pump to where we've got it all hooked up, ready to go. We can flip a switch and we're gonna be filtering. So at this point, we wanna add algicide. Algicide is gonna be your best friend. So algicide kills algae, okay? Shock kills bacteria. Now, do they go hand in hand? Absolutely. If you have bacteria, you normally have algae. If you have algae, you normally have bacteria. But algicide, so this is my one that I really prefer, is the Poly 60. There's 400 different ones out there, but and Poly 60 is what I prefer.
And as a non-pool knowledge-ish person, as much as Caitlin, what I don't love is the foaming kind. And so if you accidentally get the foaming kind for your pool or hot tub, it will be a bubble bath. It looks like you've gone to the fraternity house foam party and you're like, what the HE hockey sticks did I just do?
Yes.
And it's everywhere. And so just make sure, in my mind, as a non-pool person even, I like algicide, but I also always want to make sure that it's non-foaming.
Yes.
Because it looks terrible.
Yeah, and the bottles will say non-foaming. If they don't say non-foaming, now the bottles won't say I foam, the bottles will say non-foaming. So if the bottle doesn't say non-foaming, you are going to end up with a bubble bath in your pool.
But don't freak out. So I guess in that, like if you love the foam, great, have a fraternity party. But just know you've not done anything wrong when you put the algicide in there and you do have a bubble bath. Nobody died, just continue on. But you've not done anything. There is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your pool. I mean, it has algae.
Correct.
Is what it's telling you. It has algae, but it's okay. Just continue on.
Yes. So I like to add the algicide first. So literally, like when you're flipping the pump on, you can be pouring the algicide in. Now, the reason I like to add the algicide first, and I'll get to that here in a second, is because I am a firm believer that if you will take the one afternoon on the day of opening and manually vacuum this pool, manually vacuum it, you will save yourself days later. So if you add this algicide in, what it's going to do is as soon as you add this in, you will start to see little white flakes start floating in the pool. That is dead algae. That is the algicide killing the algae and allowing it to float to the top. So you'll go and you'll manually vacuum. Now there's some rules to how you manually vacuum. So if you have a sand filter or a DE filter, either one, if you have a sand filter, which is most common, you will put your sand filter on waste. Hook your vacuum up, flip your filter on, vacuum on waste. Now, with that being said, if you're vacuuming on waste, then you are taking water directly from the pool and you're discharging out. So you're going to lose water as you're vacuuming. So I always tell people, fill the pool to the brim, as full as you can fill it without overfilling, and that gives you more time to be able to vacuum down. It's not a race. None of this manual vacuuming is a race. So manually vacuum, and once you get the water level too low, shut your pump off, have your garden hose running. You may have to take a 2-hour break. Go drink a cold one. Go do whatever you need to do, but then come back to it once the water level's back up and then finish your vacuuming. The reason for this is through the wintertime, for the 4 months or 5 months that you have your pool shut down through the winter, sometimes it's 6 or 7, all those particles fall to the bottom and they are suspended on the bottom of the pool. And where we go wrong is we always want to go in there and we want to brush our pools and we want to run our automatic vacuums. And now everything that was sitting on the bottom is now stirred up into the 7,000, the 10,000, the 12,000, however many gallons of water that you have. So now you're trying to bring those particles that are suspended in the water and filter out versus simply just being able to vacuum them up off of the floor of the pool. So if you've done it, if you do it this year, everybody does it. But if you can do these few little steps on opening day, I'm telling you, it will save you so much time and so much heartache later on. So don't put your automatic cleaner in. But once you get that pool clear and you can see the bottom, throw that baby in there so you don't have to use the manual vacuum for the rest of the year. But that manual vacuum is your best friend those first couple of days after you open your pool. So that being said, that's why I say I like to add, because some of you would probably like to contradict about the adding the shock first, but I add the algicide because it's going to give it a chance to kill, but you have to remember that you're going to be adding more water. So you're going to add algicide, lose algicide, add water, lose algicide, add water.
And algicide, you can't really force
You
it up.
can't overdo it. Nope.
So it'll be okay.
Correct. You're not going to like ruin a liner or ruin your skin with the algicide. So then at the end of the night, you've vacuumed it in the afternoon. You've done your best for the day. Then now that's when you go in and you say, okay, this evening I'm adding shock. And then once you add that shock, that allows your chlorine level to spike. And so now any bacteria or the algae that is dying in there, you will kill that. And so that's where your shock comes into play. Some people will say, I always add shock first. And that's fine, except for if you roll this routine of vacuuming, you're just vacuuming that shock right out of the pool because it's never had a chance to dissolve fully. So that's why I do the algicide step early in the afternoon, always shock in the evening time.
How much algicide do you, because you have me put in a whole container of that
I do.
stuff.
I do because I'm a
on
firm,
opening.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that you can't really overdo it. Now, you don't want to be dumping bottle after
Right.
bottle after bottle.
You got a problem. If
Yeah,
you,
so like opening day, if you've
what I
got
have.
if you've got a 8,000 to 12,000, half a bottle to a full bottle on opening day. Sometimes I'll tell people, you know what, add half, and if you still have green in a day or two, then add the rest of the half. As soon
can
as,
always do more.
Yeah, as soon as that green is gone, then you can go right back. And on the back of it, like here is 2 to 4 ounces per 10,000 gallons. So like on this pool here, she's adding 2 to 4 ounces one time a week. But algicide is also a weekly thing. If you keep this in the pool weekly, you will save yourself a lot of time with those moments that you walk out there and it was clear when you went to bed, and then now all of a sudden it is green. That's what this algicide will help prevent. So algicide, then shock. These two are your best friends on opening day. And then after that, then we'll have another video about chemistry and all of that. But I wanted to have this video today to be able to help you guys and to understanding that pool opening does not have to be a 3-week process. I have taken some pools that are, when I say that they are like the darkest green, almost black, and never drained them down, but done the vacuuming like I'm saying, add the algicide like I'm saying, and cleared them up in about 5 to 6 days time. Now we're talking an in-ground pool, 40,000 gallons. And it wasn't at my house, so that means I was having to travel there and everything else. So what I'm saying is if you do it and you do it in this process, you should have a clear pool. The one thing I didn't say is when you're manually vacuuming, if you have a sand filter, you have to backwash those things. If you don't backwash it, you're just letting that stuff flow right back into the pool, and or you're losing your suction. So backwashing those sand filters, kind of my recommended is daily until it starts to clear, and then start putting days in between as the clarity starts to get there. But I see a lot of people go wrong with, they'll come in and be like, my pool's super cloudy, I don't know what to do. And you ask them, when was the last time you backwashed? And it's been a week, or it's been 5 or 6 days. 5 or 6 days is too long on a cloudy pool that's got particles that need to get out of it. So that's what those sand filters do. Yeah. Any questions, Cassie?
So if they did, she's doing that. Yeah, she's saying this because this is the first year that our cover came off. Okay, and so this is day. Okay, here's our pool. Okay, so this is where I'm probably 2 weeks in on this disaster. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Caitlin was like, get the freaking automatic vacuum out of there and put it away. And so get out. So what I did is I added more algicide yesterday. I added shock. Then she was like, you've got to get out your manual vacuum and actually vacuum up the different particles on the bottom, because we didn't do that. We put in our automatic vacuum, and I'm like, all right, guy, just go. I mean, I've been emptying him and I've been backwashing, but you explained it really well when you were like, it's like a 3-year-old vacuuming your house and you expecting for all the dirt to get up. It's just not. All it's doing is going in. It has no HEPA filter. It's just going into the air into the particles are going into the water, but like it would in your house if you took the shop vac in with that big,
without the filter
without the filter on it, and it's got that big hole on the back, and it's just shooting up all the air, the dirt back into the air. Yeah. So that's what my automatic vacuum did, and it stirred everything up.
Yeah. And like I said, I love automatic vacuums. I love them the day that the pool is cleared up, because they do a great job. But if you have ever watched a good automatic vacuum run, they run and they force water up through them, and it's this beautiful little water spout. So it does a good job of moving the water and keeping movement in there and keeping stuff circulating. But when you have these particles, you want it as easy as possible. You want them down on the floor. You want to be able just to vacuum them right up, and then that way you can backwash them out and then be good to go. So Cassie's got 2 or 3 days ahead of her. She's in good shape. Doesn't look the prettiest, but she doesn't have green in it. I don't know if you can kind of tell in the video. This kind of looks like a green patch, but it's just a glare from the sun. She's in good shape. So the problem is right now, and this stage right here is the stage where everybody gets stuck. And this is the stage that happens about a week and a half in. Again, if you wait too long to open your pool, then now we're at Memorial Weekend, and everybody wants this magical dust.
Everybody comes in and they're like, I bet I want to swim in my pool tomorrow. I've got people coming, and we're like, oh, well, that might not be possible. So like, do it now.
Yep, do it now. And then, like I said, she's 2 or 3 days out. She knows what to do moving forward. By the way, just for everybody to know, I did send her a text like a week ago that said,
she told me to do this, and my husband and I did not do it.
So this is a shame.
We should have listened. But this is a very valid point that, you know, like, I'm going to continue to vacuum and continue to vacuum. And she told me something a while ago before we got on here, on the video. She was like, okay, people come in and they're like, well, I can't see where I'm vacuuming. And she's like, I don't care if you can't see.
Right.
If you can't see where you're vacuuming, you need to keep vacuuming.
Right. You have a pool and you have walls all the way around, so your vacuum's not going to leave the pool. Just keep the vacuum in the pool, because if it's in this shape, it's in a shape where you need to continue to vacuum. So it doesn't matter if you can see it or not. And that's the nice thing is then once it does clear up, then absolutely you can spot hit it with the vacuum, because you can see where stuff's building up.
You can see where you're going, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of questions. How much does it cost to hire you to come and teach us how to get a pool up and going? Okay, so Caitlin actually she can help you with that. You'll have to contact her at the store, or her dad can. They have a pool business, so they do know what they're talking about. So that's, yes. At Cleaver's, we do we do water testing, and so you can bring in, how much, do you want to tell them how much to bring in?
Yeah, so we do water testing. A couple of things, if you haven't tested water with us before, we do need to know the gallons of pool, how many gallons are in your pool, and we do ask the filter type. It's not crucial to what the chemistry of the water is going to be, but it helps us to be able to consult you further from there. So we need to know the gallons, if it's an above ground or an in ground, and then what kind of system you're using, because there's chlorine systems, there's salt systems, and there's non-chlorine systems. So we just need to know what chemicals you're using so we can recommend the best approach to get you to a clear pool. As far as the amount of water, like the easiest thing to do is to tell you
cheese container.
A small cottage cheese container, or even a bottle of water, a bottle of water. The note though is so many people bring this bottle of water in, and as soon as I grab a hold of it, I'm like, has this been in your car all day? You cannot leave it in your car all day, because of the heat and the plastic. It will distort what the chemicals are in it. So we just ask that you bring it in. It doesn't have to be in a thermos or anything, but just bring it in. Don't send it in with your husband and tell him to stop by after work and have him get it tested. But a bottle of water is a perfect amount. We don't need like a whole jug or anything. We do want your name on it. It takes about, once we have you set up, if we've tested your pool before, it takes about 3 minutes, as long as our counter is not busy with other customers and stuff. About 3 minutes to test your pool water. But the thing that I love the best about it is it will give you a print off. And on that print off, if you take the time to read through it, you can almost become a pool master yourself, because it will tell you down to the ounces. You need to add 6 ounces of this product to take your pH from 7.3 to 7.2. So it's very good. It's not high level, so you can read it. And in the event that maybe myself wasn't there or someone wasn't there to be able to tell you, like, okay, here's what you should do, if you just grab that piece of paper, read through there, the paper will actually tell you in more words than what I will tell you in. So,
right.
Yes, absolutely, bring them in.
That is a service we provide for free to our chemical customers.
Yep.
So if you are coming in to the store and buying your chemicals with us, then you for free get to have Caitlin's knowledge and all our employees' different knowledge that she has taught them, and our computer system of testing your pool. So that's just a local benefit of you shopping local and, you know, getting to do that. So
and do we have pool filter pumps and vacuums? Yes, we have vacuums, and I just stock one pump and filter system. It's kind of an all-in-one. It is a sand filter. It's going to be a 16-inch sand filter and a pump. It will run about any above ground pool that's around here, unless you have, I'd have to double check on the horsepower of it for like the bigger, like the 24-foot rounds. But yes, I do have that in stock. I normally only keep 1 or 2 of them. They're kind of a backup. So if someone has something that goes wrong, then we're able to get them up and going. So yes, we do have that in the store. The vacuums we do not have automatic vacuums. We can order those. There's a lot of different things that go along with that, whether it's an above ground, an in ground, is it a concrete pool, a vinyl liner pool, because that will depend on the type of vacuum that you can use, automatic vacuum you can use. As far as manual vacuums, we have a couple different options. We have some that have the bristles on the bottom of them. We have some that are a triangle shape. It's kind of your preference. And I can help walk you through some of that, kind of talk about what your pool is. If you have lots of divots in the bottom, The one with the rollers is a little bit easier to maneuver across the bottom so you don't get caught. And then we have different lengths of the hoses to be able to hook up into the suction side. So if we don't have something, we have a couple different pool suppliers that we can actually order from, and we can either have stuff UPS to us, we can pick them up on our truck. So generally speaking, we should be able to get you taken care of in one form or fashion, whether it's in store or we have to order you something.
And it's pretty, our delivery is pretty,
couple
quick,
days.
couple of days to be able to get stuff. So I don't want to promise it's like Amazon, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Generally, like, we're able to kind of match that delivery speed. And like Jason and I order, like, can we even get pools?
Yes, we can.
Sometimes, if our supplier has, like, I know during COVID it was really hard to get all of these supplies, but actually we ordered this pool through Cleaver's as well for Jason and I. So, like, we ordered the pool ourselves, and then we did install it. That's your own thing. But
yes, we don't do pool installations.
Right,
so.
we don't. But if you want to watch some YouTube and do it yourself, we do have access to buy all the things.
Right.
We ordered our own, automatic vacuum. We've ordered all of our supplies, all the things that we want. We do have some pool swag and all the toys and the fun things too that we can get. So we just know that we do have access to all that stuff. Fred's not out here; he'd be barking at the birds.
Yeah.
So we do have access to all that stuff. It is generally, as long as our suppliers and everything's working correctly, it comes pretty fast in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have any other questions on anything. Put them in the comments. We'll continue watching the comments of the video. The biggest thing is to take the time in the beginning and vacuum out on waste.
Yeah.
After you put your algicide in, take the time, and if you can't see the bottom, keep vacuuming. Empty your skimmer basket, backwash your filter as you're going, all the things. Now, one question I did have.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm going, as I clean up my mess, my disaster that I'm going to blame it on my boyfriend Jason, so that I have created for myself. Can I leave my filter off overnight or during the day to help the particles settle, or do I not want to do that?
Yeah, so that's kind of it's a tricky question. Yes, you can leave your filter off to help the particles settle. But if you are not going to come out first thing in the morning and take care of the settled particles, then do not turn your filter off. I have a lot of people who also will come in and be like, my pool's not clearing up and I don't know why. And then I ask the $1 million question of, do you run your pump all the time? Well, no, it's really expensive. It is really expensive, but you have to remember, if you have dust in your house, I keep telling Cassian, treat it just like a vacuum sweeper in your house. But if you have dust in your house, if you don't run your little Roomba all the time, then he's not going to clean up the dust. So if you don't have your filter running all the time, you're not going to be able to get those particles taken care of. In the beginning, when it's cooler out, people who shut their pump off, it doesn't worry me as much because of the coolness. But as soon as it starts getting, like, we're kind of at the temperature right now. This last couple of days, it's been pretty warm. You want to keep your pool running. You need it to filter those particles out. You need it to clear that up. Now, once she's cleared up, if she wants to shut it off or whatever, but at that point, there's no reason to. Just let her filter, let her go through. Because the thing about a pool is, as soon as you shut the filter off, your pool becomes a pond. Because now it's stagnant water and not moving water. So that's just something to remember. But yes, if you're fighting the suspended particles, you absolutely can shut it off. And normally it takes 6 or 8 hours. Normally just an hour or two won't let it suspend far enough or drop far enough. So 6 or 8 hours, so overnight, and then come out first thing in the morning and vacuum it up.
Yeah, and it's cooler overnight too.
Yep.
So that helps with,
Yeah, and you don't have the sunlight for algae to grow.
Instead of it doing it while you're at work and it's baking all day long. So really, I would recommend it being overnight while it's cool. But we generally, once we get our pool balanced, and we'll talk to you next video about all the things that we do, but generally once we get that done, we just run our filter and we keep going, and it just stays pretty good and clear. So Okay. Well,
Okay.
if you have, happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you have any other questions, thank you for Caitlin coming over on her birthday to look at my hot mess and to help all of you figure out how to open your pools. But the moral of the story is do not wait until you or your grandkids or the neighbors or somebody else wants to come over and have a swim party for Memorial Weekend or whatever.
Yep.
Get them opened now in the coolest part of what is going to come in Kansas summertime, and spend the time to make sure you have a few hours, bring out the family, have everybody help, make sure you have time to vacuum and to really work on all the things. So like I said, if you have questions, put them in the comments. We'll watch the video and we'll get you answers. If you have other questions, feel free to come in the store. We'll help you get your chemicals. We can test, you know, whatever your water is down the line, and you're welcome to ask Caitlin and the other staff members or employees, our team members, any of the questions that you have, and we'll help you as much as we can. So, okay,
Absolutely.
have a great Sunday. It's Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday.
So, okay, we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.